It was a national reckoning, a brutal examination of the decades-long systematic attempt to destroy Indigenous cultures and force assimilation by removing children from their homes and into residential schools. 3 commissioners spent 6 years gathering accounts from parents, survivors, and their children to understand the truth and impacts of this era. Their work culminated with 94 calls to action, a reconciliation roadmap.
I've very often said when newcomers come to Canada, we don't get to cherry pick the parts of Canada that we like. Yes, healthcare or universal education or things like that we take as normal, but so too are the mistakes of our country and the regrets of our country.
Wilson's new book, North of Nowhere, is aimed at those who weren't here for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission or were too young to remember it.
I made promises over and over again to the survivors when they asked us, make sure Canada knows what happened to us, make sure the world knows what happened to us, and I want to leave my book as one more tool that will allow us to remember and to not forget.
But the very government that put reconciliation on the national agenda is itself often under fire for forgetting. Earlier this month, blasted for a lack of follow-through on the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls inquiry.
Regrettably, the report's findings indicate that only 2 of the calls for justice impacting First Nations have been fully implemented over the past 5 years, with the majority showing minimal to no progress.
Douglas Sinclair heads one of a handful of organizations still keeping tabs on that progress.
From an A to an F, what would you feel comfortable giving for a grade?
I'd probably just off the top, I'd probably just say a C. I mean, there'd probably be some areas that would be lower, other places that might be a bit higher.
Under the previous
Indigenous Services Minister Patty Haidu.
Under the leadership of Justin Trudeau, a renewal of commitment to First Nations peoples on things like infrastructure, on water, on child welfare. We've, in terms of settling litigation on claims, on treaty claims, on land claims. Of course, there's a long ways to go, but I am confident that we're on the path.
A path that will continue to be scrutinized for years to come. Melissa Ridgen, Global News, Winnipeg.